Verimark, I guess the market leader when it comes to selling things via television infomercials, released its half-year earnings this morning with a 5.9% drop in its revenue. Joining us in studio is the company's CEO, Mike van Straaten. Mike, nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I've dissed you already, big time. You're now a 56 million rand company. I remember when you listed, you took 100 million off the table. Personally.
Alec,
we called you Mr. 100 Bar. Do you remember that?
You remember well. Alec, yeah, the business is things that we can't always dictate beforehand. And as I indicated in our press release, is that we clearly had a serious challenge with the rand, as any other importer would have had. The rand depreciated with, I think it is 71% in the last 3.5 years. Now, if your cost of goods go up 71%, all importers, as I said, we're in the same boat. Verimark has been through this, I think, three times in our 37-year history. And there is no easy answer for that, you understand. And clearly, we did put our prices up. That impact on your sales, because your sales volumes is reduced by doing that. So there's no easy way out of it. Clearly, we have adjusted and we've maintained our margins. And looking forward towards the Christmas period, we actually are conservatively optimistic, because we definitely had more. I think we have 11 new products for this period going into December, versus I think 6 that we had last year.
Well, what about the business model, Mark? We've got Kalahari.com, who you talk about 37 years. They weren't around for most of those 37 years. They've now merged with Takealot, who look to be their competitor, well-funded from offshore. They must be eating your lunch, because your numbers are telling us that your revenues even are falling. Forget about the fact that you're making trading losses.
Alec, if I could just recap the model. Remember, we pioneered direct response television advertising, the infomercial business you made reference to.
You were the king of the infomercials.
Absolutely.
But you never went on TV yourself, like some of those used car salesmen.
No, that is only in America where they do that. I elected not to do so. But the fact was, at that point in time, 90% of our sales were television sales, people phoning up the toll-free number at the time. We clearly did some research 3 years after that in the US, in Europe, and we could see the trends are changing, and that you probably could sell 5 times or 10 times more by taking those TV products into retail. So the model is not at all the Kalahari.net model. We are today doing 99% of our sales is retail, less than 1% is really the television sales. And there's obviously part of that would be internet sales. So we definitely don't play in that. We much.
You've got retail outlets then, in other words.
We're selling to 2,000 retail outlets. In all the big retailers. You mentioned some of the names before the program, before I came on. So we sell to them, and we have a store within a store concept, which really is positioned Verimark in terms. I've just returned from a very big exhibition in Las Vegas, industry related. I've done it for 25 years, and all those guys just said, listen, what Verimark has achieved in taking TV product or infomercial products into the retail has never been seen. We are the international benchmark. And
do you have your own outlets?
We have 80. We have about 86 Verimark outlets, in addition to these 2,000 stores that I referred to.
I'll tell you where I'm going with this. Yesterday, we had the Competition Commission in the studio, and there's a lot of issues going around exclusive leases for retailers, where, as you're well aware, Massmart is trying to get in the market with the muscle of Walmart,
with the food.
And they can't, because the retailers have got long-term exclusive leases. Would that have an impact on your business one way or the other if the Competition Commission outlaws these?
No, listen, I think those things seem to be turning more around the food issue now, and that is really where the big fights is. I think competition is good. I think, we can't see that impacting on us. Clearly, if our trading partners, some of our retailers, is taking strain, that is a known factor.
What do they charge you? What do they charge you for the store within a store? Do you pay the same rental that they pay?
No, Alec, we don't pay a rental at all. We give them a trading discount. And it's a question of what discount do you give these guys, not unlike any of the other wholesalers to the retailer. So although I'm talking about a store within a store concept, it is really, we sell to them on a discount basis, getting paid in 30 or 60 or 90 days, whatever the case might be, as any other supplier. But I think the fact that we pull people into their stores, we are still today in the top 20 television advertisers. I think I looked at a report recently, and we were, from exposure perspective, on the same level as Vodacom, which is a multi-billion business.
It is incredible, but the bottom line tells me that it's not working. You're losing money.
Alec, I think the big challenge here, and if you say, how are we going to rectify it, I'd respond to that by saying that our challenge is the rand. If the rand depreciates with 71%, you cannot put your selling prices up 71%. So maybe we've gone up I don't know, in the last 3.5 years, maybe 30%. But still, as you put that price up, sales drop on that item. Your rand turnover, if you go up 10%, in my experience, the very next month on that particular line, you will sell 20 to 30% less rand turnover. You understand? That is the fact.
So there's a direct correlation. So you had some good years with the rand being strong.
But listen, if you say, listen, we're in the same position as any other importer. They are the same, and people tend to delay your increases. So you firstly take a knock on the margin, because you're not increasing to the same extent as cost or the rand appreciated. And secondly, you have the issue that if you put the prices up, the volumes obviously sag. Now, how you make that up is by new products, and that's why I made a bit earlier reference to that we have actually looked at also bringing in a less expensive products, which will give us the critical a lot of sale revenue. But Alec, on the long term, if you say what is the solution, is we used to be in the international business where we supplied product. Verimark is one of the few companies in the world today that have proven for 37 years that we can innovate and that we can bring new concepts to the consumer, and we've done it more so than anybody else in the world.
But then you would be a multi-billion rand company if you did it more.
But we haven't. No, but we have done nothing. We've done zero at this point in time.
Why?
And that is things. Listen, clearly after the listing, we decided to focus more locally. We were thinking of Africa and those things, which clearly is a long, and everybody would tell you Africa is not for sissies. But we're not ignoring Africa. There's some retailers that are doing very well up there, and you've mentioned some of our partners earlier, and we can work with them. But more so, there is a vast opportunity to bring success-proven TV infomercials or commercials to the international market, and there's companies that literally has doubled or tripled their turnover, obviously over time. Not that I suggest we can do that on the short term. It's something that you re-establish your
So you're now looking to take this model from South Africa, what you've learned here, into Africa or elsewhere?
We have inquiries monthly from people from Canada to Australia to Russia to Africa. In fact, I've got a meeting tomorrow, and I can't tell you specifically which country it is, but the reality is there's two ways how you expand it. You either duplicate the model, as you're saying, which is clearly we've done it in Singapore. Is it making money for us? We're only in 30 outlets there. If I look at 2,000 in South Africa, clearly, but we've learned a vast amount of how to duplicate that model, negotiating with the TV stations themselves, the retailers themselves. I mean, that was an eye-opening experience for our top management team. And secondly, the easier way is if you have a winner. I think of Twister years ago. You might still remember with Isabel Jones that did that product. We sold, I think, in South Africa 2 million units. We sold 500,000 in Egypt, of all places. And it shows you if you have a winning product, you can present it, because there is clearly a major demand for real home run winners internationally, and that is things that we would start doing over the next year and a half. I don't want to try and mispresent. We obviously are going to go into it conservatively. We've done it before, but on a much smaller scale. And when we didn't have Verimark today, have about 70 brands, 70 products as such. There's obviously, if you look at the items, it's a lot more than 70. But we can take a lot of that internationally, and that was the idea.